This is Gina Moore with More Than Sports. I am here with class of 2022 quarterback from Roswell High School in Georgia, Robbie Roper. Robbie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How is it over there in Georgia?
It was a rainy day today, but the sun's supposed to come out for the next couple weeks.
Well, that's good. What's the temp there now?
I think it's about 55, 60.
Okay, that's not bad. That's about so I'm in Eugene, Oregon, and that's about what it's here. Today was like a really nice day. It was 70. So, of course, everybody's out mowing their yards and, doing all that kind of stuff. So we're going to just get right into the questions here, if you're ready.
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready.
All right. So you are a quarterback. How long have you played quarterback?
I started playing football when I was 5, and I started playing linebacker. But the next year, I just really wanted to touch the ball, and was one of the more athletic kids on my team. So switched to quarterback, and I've been playing it ever since.
Well, and how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Okay. So you're like great height for a quarterback.
Yes, ma'am.
And what made you choose that position? You kind of already touched on that a little bit, but now kind of going through, why did you continue with that position?
Just being able to lead the team, and when you score touchdowns with your team, there's no better feeling.
Yeah, I bet. Now, we talked yesterday, and you sent me some pictures and told me a little bit about your family history. So it sounds like you come from a family of athletes. Talk to me a little bit about that, kind of starting way back. Your great-great-grandfather, I believe you said. Talk to me all about that.
Yeah, my great-great-grandfather, he played for the Yankees with Babe Ruth. His name was Sam Vick. My mom played basketball at KSU, and my sister plays softball at Georgia Tech right now.
That's great. So you definitely have people that around you that can give you advice that are there now, like your sister, or have been like your mom, on the recruiting process and all of that, what it really means to be a student athlete, especially at the college level. So that's great.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you guys did have a season this year. Yes, how did that go for you?
We finished 8-3. I threw for 2,500 total yards. I had 25 touchdowns, and we lost in the second round. But I think next year we can definitely get a little bit farther and hopefully have a chance at state.
Are you losing a lot of players, or are you guys pretty young?
On the offensive side, we're losing a good bit, but we've got up-and-coming players who I think will fill in good and can step up.
That's great. Well, and it helps to have that experience, especially at the quarterback level as well. So, you'll be returning for your last year. So as the quarterback, talk to me a little bit about what you think makes a good leader on and off the field. As a quarterback, you're kind of that main leadership position. So talk to me a little bit about what you think makes a good leader on and off the field.
I think someone that just leads by example, and their teammates and peers in the classroom know they can count on them for anything if they need help on schoolwork or in a game if they don't know what play to run or what formation. I'm just there to help them out. And yeah.
Well, and let's talk about the classroom a little bit, because you have, what's your GPA?
3.85.
Yeah. I'd say that's pretty good.
Yes, ma'am. I would say so.
So where does that drive come from to want to succeed, especially in the classroom? Obviously, if you don't succeed in the classroom, you're not going on to the collegiate level in most cases. So talk to me a little bit about where that drive comes from, and have you always had that?
I would say I'm pretty self-motivated, and having like my sister to look up to and talk to her and help with any school if I ever need it is always a good help. And she's just been a good example of how to do it and how to manage football or sports and school.
And how far away is she from you?
She's 45 minutes, maybe shorter. So.
Oh, that's great. So
Yes,
you've been able to go and watch her games, or have you guys been able to do that there?
Yeah, we've been able to. I've seen a few this year.
That's pretty exciting, I'm sure, to have a sister in college that, again, somebody that you can look up to that's there, that's a student athlete, that can give you some pretty good advice.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think that's great. And I really like what you said about being an example or leading by example, because I think sometimes that's key. A lot of times you can say whatever you want, but if you're not following what you're saying, those words are kind of cheap. So, I think leading by example is huge. Now, are you a vocal leader or are you more quiet?
When I have to be vocal, I mean, there are times here and there where you need to be, but more quiet, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I obviously, I've just talked to you, but I can see you being that way, being vocal, as the quarterback, because you need to be. And then kind of knowing when maybe not to be. So, I think that's a good balance to have. Now, let's talk a little bit about you. What's been a situation, maybe a struggle or something that you've had to overcome, where you learned something about yourself? Maybe you overcame something or whatever the case may be, but what's a situation where you learned something about yourself?
Definitely with the corona, when you're stuck in your house with school and stuff, you got to be self-motivated and time management at home with no teachers or your peers next to you.
And so what did you learn about yourself during that?
I mean, I think if you make it through corona, I mean, that might be the toughest you'll face. So you can really just make it through anything.
Right, exactly. And how has that been for you? Kind of emotionally, like, it's so hard to be in a classroom, to have that. You've gone this many years going to school in a classroom setting, with your friends and your peers. And then all of a sudden you're stuck, like you said, stuck at home, having to do online classes. How has that been for you, really emotionally, and having to deal with all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty tough at first because I never had to face that before. So just getting used to it. And then, I mean, my sister was home too. So any schoolwork I needed help on, she was there to help. And yeah.
I think that's, there are definitely advantages that have come from it. There's definitely been a lot of disadvantages that have come from it as well, but kind of looking at it that way, your sister was home, she was able to help you, and so that's something that's good. That's one thing that I've heard, is that a lot of families actually got closer because they've been home together, and so I think that's, I think that's something that's been good, that has come out of it for sure. Now, what are your hopes and dreams for the future?
Yeah, well, I would love to go to college, get a good degree in economics, and hopefully have a chance to play in the NFL one day.
Now, what do you want to do with that degree in economics?
It's either economics or business. I'd love to start my own business if I could.
What kind of business would you like to do? Do you have one in mind, or just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
You want to be your own boss?
Yes, ma'am.
When football's all said and done and the NFL's done. Do you have a favorite NFL team?
The Green Bay Packers.
Okay. And then, so who's your favorite player? Yeah, that's, I like Aaron Rodgers as well. I like Green Bay. I think they're, Brett Favre, I liked watching him play. That's kind of more my era. But, I think it's important to have those hopes and dreams, to have those dreams that you can strive for. which you're doing, and I think one thing that I admire about you is that you reached out to me, not necessarily to do an interview, but I appreciate those kids that take the initiative and really try to market themselves. Now, you have been invited to a lot of camps, the Elite 11, like your shirt, and, these other camps as well, but you don't have any offers as of yet. And they're coming, but as of yet, you have no offers. What's one thing that you want college coaches to know about you?
I think I could step into any program and make the program better just by competing and pushing, whether it be quarterbacks or anyone, the defense, the receivers, just making everyone around me better.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big, that's something that's amazing. When you're on the field, you need that person that's going to, that's their attitude. They're there to make everybody else better as well. And your grades, obviously, again, you're going to lead by example. And I think that's, that's pretty big. Now, what's a little known fact about you?
Growing up, I loved to play dodgeball. If there was professional dodgeball, I would definitely be in it.
Dodgeball. I think there is a professional dodgeball league.
Yeah, but
it doesn't compare to football.
I don't know what steps it would take to get there and all that.
Dodgeball. What was it about dodgeball that you liked? Throwing the ball, probably, since you're
mostly. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that little known fact about anybody. So that's a good one. What would you say your biggest strength is?
Definitely would be that I'm a hard worker and a competitor in anything we do. No matter if it's family game night and we're playing Mario Kart on Wii, no matter what it is, I'm going to compete.
So you're extremely competitive.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you win?
Yeah.
Or are we not going to talk about that?
No, I do, but everyone else in the family likes to say they win. And yeah, there's definitely some trash talking and all that.
Hey, you know what? Whatever works brings you guys closer together. That's great.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how would you describe yourself as the person? So not the athlete, but who is Robbie Roper, the person?
I would say still self-motivated and caring for my peers around me and anyone.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And you're competitive. What have I asked this? What your biggest strength is? I don't think I did. What's your biggest strength?
As a person or athlete?
Both.
As a quarterback, I would say probably my arm strength and just my football IQ. And I mean, if you watch film, you can see both of those. And then as a person, I would say I'm pretty good with time management and anything with that, whether it be schoolwork or anything that has to deal with time management.
Mm-hmm. Now, you play 7-on-7 as well with Team Raw.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you think that helps your game?
I think it helps a ton. You're running the same concepts you run in games, and in 7-on-7, you're going to see every coverage and see what works against it and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm. And what's it like going to these tournaments and competing against, 4- and 5-star athletes? Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? How do you think that is?
I mean, that's special. Sometimes you don't even realize it till after you play them, and you're like, "That dude's a 5-star or 4-star we just went against." So I mean, it's pretty cool.
And you're playing with kids from all over, on your team. What is that like? Kind of having that type of environment where you might be competitors in normal football, but
Mhm.
yet you're teammates on 7-on-7. What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool thing. I mean, you can joke with them about the games you played against them and hopefully beat them. Yeah.
And so is it kind of like a brotherhood?
I would say so, yeah. It's all one big family at the end of the day.
hmm Do you have a favorite? Okay, so do you have a favorite moment from your regular football season? And then we'll do a favorite from 7-on-7 as well.
Probably I would say we faced a team at the time who was top 10 in the state in Cherokee, and I mean, we handled them pretty good. We ended up winning by 7, and it was probably our biggest game of the season.
Mm-hmm. It's always big winning those big games, rivalries, and all
Mhm.
of that. So now, what about for 7-on-7?
Um, we just started, so probably um probably our last tournament. I mean, we started off a little rough in the first tournament, but last tournament everything started to click and we made it pretty deep into the tournament.
That's great. Now, what is the best piece of advice that you've been given?
Probably just to keep working hard and everything will fall into place.
And do you apply that? I mean, is it how hard is that? I guess to.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely stressful at times when you see other kids already have places to go and know where they're going, and you're still really don't have a clue where you're going.
hmm Now, what does the word discipline, and we've kind of talked all around this, but what does the word discipline mean to you?
I think it means doing what needs to be done, no matter like how hard it is on your body or mind, or how long it will take.
And how do you stay disciplined with school and sports?
Definitely setting short-term goals, and then
Mhm.
of course long-term goals.
Yeah, those are key.
Mm,
I actually interviewed a kid that's a quarterback as well,
mm,
and he is a freshman this year, and he has on his mirror his
mm.
goals. And so I think that's so important to have those short-term goals for sure, and then the long-term goals as well. It's something that you can look forward to and that you can really see yourself achieve, which makes you feel good. So,
Okay.
um, last question. Do you have any advice for maybe those kids that are working extremely hard like you are, maybe don't have any offers yet? They're kind of just biding their time. What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, just keep working, be the best player you can be at your position, and everything happens for a reason and will fall into place.
That's great advice. Well, Robbie, again, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're 3 hours ahead, so
Mm.
it's 9:30, almost 9:30 there. So thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This is Jean Amore with More Than Sports. Thanks for watching.